Investment Decision Making Using Excel. This video is the first in a series discussing the essentials of effective investment decision making. It examines the time value of money, interest, present value, and future value. These techniques are consistent, repeatable, and effective. These tools quickly identify the best alternative from competing possibilities. Being consistent and repeatable, different persons can perform the calculations and arrive at the same result. People throughout the world understand and use these methods. The foundation of financial analysis is the time value of money. A sense of its meaning is suggested by answering the question, what's better, $1,000 received today or $1,000 received 1 year from now? Almost everyone prefers receiving $1,000 today rather than receiving $1,000 sometime in the future. I suspect you too would be happier having money in your hands now rather than waiting until a year or two from now. This preference for money now is the time value of money. We all know that uncertainty exists about receiving the funds in the future and whether that money will be as useful then as having it now. A tool used to measure the time value of money is interest. Interest is the charge paid for taking out a loan from a bank or another person. It also is the money earned if you extend a loan to someone else, or the payment you receive if you deposit your money in a bank or another financial institution. Let's look at an example. Assume you borrow $1,000 for 1 year at an interest rate of 10%. The $1,000 borrowed is called the principal. The interest for 1 year is calculated as $1,000 times 10%, which equals $100. And you now have the obligation to repay the principal of $1,000 and pay the interest of $100, thus totaling $1,100. Now, suppose you do not repay the principal nor the interest from year 1, but keep the money for a second year. The interest will continue to accumulate both on the principal and on the unpaid interest. So you owe $1,100 times 10%, which equals $110 in interest for year 2, and you add this to the new principal of $1,100. Thus you owe $1,210. In a similar way, if you continue to forego repaying the loan for another year, you owe $1,210 times 10%, which equals $121 in interest. And adding this to the principal of $1,210, you get a total of $1,331. This phenomenon of interest growing on itself is called compound interest. The compounding of interest is like rolling a snowball downhill. It grows bigger and bigger the longer it rolls. In a similar way, compound interest works for you when you invest your money. $1,000 invested at 10% will grow to $1,100 in 1 year. It'll grow to $1,210 in 2 years. Will grow to $1,331 in 3 years, and so on. In addition to compound interest, there's another type of interest called simple interest. Simple interest is where interest is calculated only on the original principal. For example, simple interest of 10% on $1,000 would be $100 in year 1, 2, 3, etc. In the real world, simple interest generally only applies when the interest payments are periodically paid by the borrower over the duration of a loan. Most corporate bonds work that way. The company issuing a bond pays interest to the bondholders on a regular basis, such as every 3 months. and there is no compounding of interest. Many things affect the interest rate. These include the credit worthiness of the borrower, the availability of money to the lender's motivation to lend, the length of time the money will be borrowed, and other factors. Let's move on to the next idea. When analyzing an investment, you need to set a point in time where you will make the evaluation. Many investments are evaluated from the point of view of the present moment. To do this, you convert all future income and costs to present values. You do this using a compound interest formula. This type of analysis is called present value analysis, and most people use this method to evaluate projects. However, there are other ways to consistently evaluate investments. For example, when buying stocks or mutual funds, or when investing in a retirement account, people generally evaluate those investments from some future point in time. This is called future value analysis. Investments also can be evaluated from the viewpoint of a series of periodic payments, and since those payments traditionally were paid once each year, they're called annuities. Reiterating, present value analysis converts all money into present units of money: present dollars, present pounds sterling, present euros, present yuan. When we say present dollars, we mean money or value generated, paid, or received in the future, but re-expressed as present values. To move future money back to the present, we use compound interest formulas. Investors also use the term discount rate and discount factor as other names for compound interest. We'll discuss the discount rate more in later videos, such as when we discuss the net present value and benefit cost ratio. When making investment decisions, we call the time reference point time zero. Most analysts consider time zero to be an instant or a short period of time, such as a single day, week, or month. This is when the investor makes his or her go, no-go decision. To recap, we discussed the time value of money and interest. The time value of money looks at the timing of investments and income. Compound interest formulas allow you to move money from the future to the present and vice versa. We also discussed the present value, future value, and time zero. In the next video, we'll discuss cash flows and other important financial terms. Click here for the next video, or to learn more, go to toweringskills.com.